Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Love's Truck Stop in Canaan, New York, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to our show. Welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam. Kaustubha, it's out of control. My inbox on my Instagram account is, I don't even know where to begin.
Coincidences?
But I'm getting so many Krishna coincidences. If you're unfamiliar with what a Krishna coincidence is when you take they say, as you take a little step towards Krishna
Sends miracles your way.
thousands, he takes thousands running steps towards you.
Okay.
So people are finding, and people are writing me in their Krishna coincidences, like, I did this, I got into this, and all of a sudden my roommate gave me a Bhagavad Gita randomly.
Are these officially counted as miracles?
Well, in the Catholic Church, I think you have to do 2 miracles to become a saint.
So you got like...
I mean, they're not mine. They're not mine. They're everybody writing in. So,
You got your own too.
Keep track of your miracles, and then we can approach the Vatican. We can go to Vatican City, put our petition. Look, these miracles are happening right in front of our eyes. Just strange Krishna coincidences.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have. I think maybe what day is it today? Tuesday. Maybe Thursday will be Krishna Coincidence Day, where we start every Thursday with the Krishna coincidence.
Okay, let's see how that goes.
I think it gives a little. They're so bizarre that you got to they give you a little faith in, like, all right, weird things are happening out there. It's not as black and white as the whole world seems. There's magic in the air.
Well, Bob and I are halfway to sainthood with our Taittiriya Upanishad coincidence. Or miracle, I should say, not coincidence, miracle.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe we should call them Krishna miracles.
There you go.
Because coincidences sounds like a faithless, random act. Okay,
That's right.
We're going to change it. As of today, they're Krishna miracles.
Okay.
KMs, we'll call them. KMs for short. Mary, you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay. Krishna miracles, KMs. No more Krishna coincidences. All right. So they just come in. If you have a Krishna miracle, you can write me on my Instagram account. I'm starting a compilation here at Raghunath Yogi. But thanks for everybody writing in. It's so entertaining in the course of a day to get these incredible stories. It gives
in the broader category of Krishna miracles, there's Nrsingadev miracles, right?
Yes. Then you can refine it. Nrsingadev is called the Nrsingadev deity in Mayapur. Sometimes they call him Dr. Nrsingadev. Dr. Nrsingadev, because he's a powerful healer. Yeah. How's life in New York? I get to hang with you this weekend.
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to that. Well, like I was saying, life, it's kind of like the city's in this stage 3 or 4. I forget which stage it is, but it's coming to life a little bit more. It's you see people out there on the street in the restaurants. They got their setups and just stuff's kind of, kids are going to school and stuff like that. And still, the city seems to be like holding it down in terms of COVID, there's been no spikes or anything. So that's, hopeful, but it's going to get cold soon. So a lot of that is going to start to shut down. But anyway, we're looking forward to having you here. Weather's beautiful. September is like the most beautiful month in New York. So looking forward to being up on that roof with you this weekend.
Me too. Yeah. Hats off to all the parents out there. It's back to school, and hopefully they're having a good school experience. My kids have this great homeschooling thing going on right now, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Had to like piecemeal it all together. Only a couple classes on Zoom, but pretty much it's outside with some cool kids in the forest. Rocco goes to the forest, and it's so cool. It's like a one-room
schoolhouse.
One-room schoolhouse with like 5 other kids. And yeah, it's
Are you the teacher some days?
Friday, I'm the teacher.
Okay, that's why you're not coming down early.
Yeah, sorry about that. Friday.
So what's on your curriculum?
Curriculum.
Fires, something like that.
No, jujitsu. I'm teaching jujitsu.
Okay.
You need a gym class. I'm a gym teacher.
Okay.
I'm teaching them jujitsu. I'm teaching them the 6 pillars of Bhakti.
Nice.
And we're having Mridanga class. I'm like music and gym.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And then they have day off, a half day off. And I'm, and Friday we have like, 15 kids coming over. All right. Let's dive into the nectar pot, sir.
Let's do it. Head first.
Okay. Narayanam Naraskritya Naram Shaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tatojaya Mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki, by regular attendance in class on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. In loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnanatamurandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Midatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Huisha. So reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
What was that? What did you just say?
Huisha. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3. Text. Where are we at? Text
20.
Text 20.
Shonaka Rishi is speaking to Sutta Goswami. He's glorifying the hearing of the Bhagavatam. He's kind of putting down people that don't.
Yeah.
He's just saying we're wasting our life if we're not.
A lot of realizations lately, Kaustubha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In reference to this?
Yeah. Hey, Kaustubha, tonight I'm doing a Sweet Baby Krishna reading.
Sweet Baby Krishna tonight for Patreon
8 o'clock.
members.
I'm going to read. Yeah, if you're a Patreon member, if you're not, patreon.com/wisdom of the sages. You make a monthly contribution and keeps this boat floating. And but I do a class. I'm gonna and you're supposed to, after you go to class, you're supposed to go to sleep. You're supposed to hear Krishna book and just go to bed. It's really nice. Make yourself a little cup of tea, and I put you down tonight. All right. So text 20. One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead, and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord, is to be considered to possess the ear holes like the ear holes of a snake and a tongue like a frog. One who's not listened to the messages. One who's not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead.
That means tuning into Sweet Baby Krishna. If you do not tune into Sweet Baby Krishna, you have ears like a snake.
Yeah, so everybody not listening with their snake-like ears and
their snake ears,
your froggy tongue. Yeah,
snakes actually don't have ears.
They don't.
No,
they don't have ear holes.
They don't have ear holes. Sometimes this is translated as like snake. You got ears like snake holes.
Huh. Okay.
But they hear with like their skull. You know. Did you know that? You're the nature guy out there.
Have you been watching Wildcrats?
I don't even know
That's
what
like
that
my
is.
son's favorite show.
But it said that the tongue of the frog is because like the frogs, at nighttime they chirp away like that. They croak away.
Yeah.
But they're just attracting attention so that the snake comes and eats it.
It's a good analogy. So
We're talking all this stuff.
we're just talking stuff. We attract death.
Yeah.
It means we are attracting birth and death, really. When we hear about Krishna, then we are attracting, and there was that verse yesterday. We hear about Krishna, and the sun doesn't take away another day of our life. We were saying the rising and the setting of the sun takes away your life. But when you're talking about Krishna, Harikatha, or spiritual topics, you're no longer subject to death anymore. This is what's going on.
But if you're just croaking away, I like to connect it and real good. I like that. But
zoom out.
otherwise, you're just croaking around. You're just croaking around, and you're attracting death. You just
Don't croak. That's today's message. Don't croak, Mara.
don't croak. Let me note that down. Maybe that'll be the title of today's thing.
Maybe that could be a tattoo for Mara. She's been looking for a good back piece. 21.
Maybe a big frog being eaten by a snake. Being eaten by a snake. And I say, don't croak. I bet Chewy could come up with something great for that.
Chewy can whip stuff out instantly. She's like expert artist.
Yeah. She's
Text
working on it right
21.
now. She's starting.
Snake croak.
Big snake with the frog.
Ear holes.
Like a ferocious snake, right? With the little innocent little frog, kind of.
Yeah.
About to get like eaten.
Text 21. The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden, if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead. Who can award?
Sing it. You don't know? I thought you'd break right into it. Bow down, mister. I thought you'd. Come on. That's your cue.
Bow down, mister. Wait a second. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man, if not engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead. Hari. Let's read that again. The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban.
Like
Who cares, right? Isn't it great when the Bhagavatam gets into their who cares verse?
You got your fancy clothes and your
Big deal, you got a big turban.
Yeah.
If that turban's not bowing down, it becomes a heavy burden. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man.
Yeah, so like all these decorations that we do, I got not just a regular I got this fancy silk turban. It's kind of showing me off as a special person, right? Like the king might wear that fancy turban or something like that. It has no value, The things of our life. What Shaunaka Rishi is saying to Sutta Goswami is he's being inspired by hearing Bhagavatam. He's saying, I get it, What's the point in having some big fancy term, decorating myself, elevating myself with my external status symbols?
Right.
What's the real value if I'm not connecting myself back to that source? Right. All right.
What do you think about what if you did have? This is a good question. What if you are into Krishna? Can't you have a nice turban?
And you can.
Or, and I'll translate that.
A
nice, jewelry or nice rings or, I never could care less about watches in my life. And my wife last year.
This is a product placement right here.
This is not. Because last year my wife bought me an expensive 15-year anniversary watch.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel awkward wearing an expensive watch because I couldn't give a crap. I'm one of those, and I'm not saying this. I don't care. I don't care. I'm like, but I wear it and I like it. But
you know what? But
is it problematic? Is it problematic if you have something, but you're practicing bhakti? Some ladies like jewelry, or some men like jewelry too. I shouldn't say ladies. Some men. I know a guy who has like lots of very nice, like expensive watches or rings or things like that. Is that a problem?
You're asking me right now.
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I would say that there are big problems and there are small problems, and then there are a way to connect things that would be problems so that they're no longer problematic.
Ooh.
Okay, so it may be some people are a bit obsessed, or like caught up in their decorations, their ornaments, and so on. They make it a big part of their life.
Yeah.
Then it may be a problem. Your a sense of pride, prestige, beauty, may be tied to that. That's seriously disconnecting yourself from your mission in life, spiritual mission in life. It may be that you kind of like those things, and it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. It's not like we have to. And then if one were to get say one, it wants to live, this is the thing. This is part of the beauty about it, like how Bhagavatam and the traditional text on yoga speak, is that we don't have to get too caught up in these things, but we don't have to be totally rigid about it either. You would go through a stage like a married life where maybe you have a little some of that. A woman might decorate herself a little nicely, and particularly if she's thinking of how she's kind of representing her own spiritual culture,
Yeah.
But then as they start to get older, as husband and wife start to get older, like they hit 50 years old or so, they start to let that stuff go. I'm going to simplify it. That's kind of like part of it's expected, I'm going to start to simplify it now. I'm not going to dress so fancy anymore. I'm just going to kind of like let that stuff go and really start to focus on my spiritual life.
You say a person can't dress. Come on, Kaustubha.
What?
You say a person can't dress nice if they're over 50?
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that there's a principle that let me start to simplify. Let me not go and worry about, kind of decorating myself, let me start to let that go. I'm going to start
I think this might be a hard one for modern culture to sort of like a bigger pill for modern culture to, especially now. It's like people, I'm over 50 and I'm still feeling like, well, it's not that old. You know what I mean? But we're supposed to be practicing winding down.
Yeah, winding down.
Winding down.
It feels good.
But I think culture says, 70 is the new 50. You should be strong and you should be doing. We're not going to wind down. I want to be young. I want to be strong. I want to be healthy. I'm going to cleanse. I'm going to detox. I want to dress nicely. I'm athletic. I want to go on a nice vacation. I've been working my whole life.
So therefore, one has to be careful about all the messages that they're taking in from, you said society. Is that who you're blaming it on?
Yeah.
Society?
Well, it's just, I think it's, we don't have a culture that supports, like empty nesters. In the old days, it meant empty nester was vanaprasth. Empty nest. My kids are grown. Now I'm going to get very serious about my spiritual life and add renunciation to my life. A whole culture supported that. Our culture supports, all right, my kids are out. Now we get to live. Woo!
Well, yeah. So therefore, if we're hearing Bhagavatam on a daily basis, if we're hearing Mahabharata and these different, we get, it gives us another picture, another idea, another idea. And I see there's grace in it. It's kind of beautiful and graceful that someone isn't trying to hang on desperately to whatever, being sexy or being attractive or being young, really, like young. And I think like spiritual people, they're young in one sense, like they're happy and always learning and full of wonder, but not trying to stay
What's
young
the
in an
sexy
awkward
cutoff
way.
line?
50. That's it. 50. Cut it off at 50. Drastically cut it off. But,
sexy cutoff line.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. All right. I've already passed it, but I passed sexy too. Mara, how old are you?
38.
38.
Time,
Okay. You got 12 more years.
Otherwise, then we're
12 more years
confiscating the
of
jewelry.
sexy.
We're coming over for your jewelry.
You're coming over for your jewelry. I'm coming over the hair clippers.
Oh, you're gonna shave her up? Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have. As a matter of fact, anyone coming to the program this weekend over 50, we're gonna be shaving their heads, tattooing spiritual cliches on their backs, and or necks, and you're gonna have to leave your jewelry in a box. So we're looking forward to seeing you Saturday on the rooftop of the Bhakti Center.
That's how you plan on profiteering off this, Raghunath. Now I get it. Walk away with the jewelry.
And selling their hair.
Selling their hair. All right.
Raghu's wig shop.
Did you know? I don't know if you know this. I may have mentioned it on the show. I don't know. But Tirupati, right? Tirumala, the temple in Tirupati, the most visited institution in the entire world, right?
I took a group on pilgrimage there.
Yeah, and it's traditional for people, but including but especially the ladies who have, and in South India, the ladies have luxurious, coconut oiled black hair, jet black hair. Yeah. But it's traditional for the ladies to shave their heads there at least once in their life when they go to visit and take darshan there. And that is the main place where like the wigs come from in the world, is actually Tirupati.
You're kidding?
Yeah, at least black wigs. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Tirupati is like an ancient temple. It's amazing, these places. I'm
such a special place.
You're so lucky to go there. Mara, let's go and we can shave your head there.
Okay, I'm in.
She said it.
We're at a place in our careers right now. We're like, whatever. We're open to anything. Okay, let's go back in here. Let's dive back in here.
Text 22. So we heard about the...
No, text 21.
We just read 21.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Text 22. The eyes, which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead, Vishnu, his form, his name, his qualities, are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock. And the legs, which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered, are considered to be like tree trunks. Got to move your legs towards holy places.
Let's read a little of the commentary here, okay?
Sure. Read your spot.
Okay. Only attention engaged in the service of the Lord, especially in dressing, decorating the temple, accompanied by musical kirtan and spiritual instructions from Scripture, can save the common person from the hellish... It's actually so true.
Is Prabhupada getting all fire and brimstone now?
He's getting a little like... He's going to start to just, give it to us in a blunt way here. From the hellish cinema attractions and rubbish sex songs broadcast everywhere by radios. But it's true.
I'm trying to think of a rubbish sex song. You got one, Mara? Well, actually, there's some real hot ones out right now. Rubbish sex songs. I mean,
some of the stuff I hear, this trap music is the thing now, like. What's
it called?
Trap. It's like the
crap.
Yeah, you're out of touch. You're the country boy up there.
You mean? Did John Denver do the song?
No, it's not John.
Not Denver. John Denver. Okay.
But it's just the latest kind of manifestation of hip hop. But some of the lyrics are just like, it's almost like intentionally just like denigrating down to like there's no even creativity left in it, and it's just like pure crude,
It's interesting. And in the name of here's the interesting thing about this. In the name of freedom, it's just like saying I'm free to eat anything I want, so I'm going to eat gasoline. That's not freedom anymore. Duh. Come on, people. You think that's freedom? That I'm going to put anything in my ears? I'm going to say anything? That's no longer freedom. That's suicide. And that's a problem. And when you put it out in culture, and when you put it out, we were talking about this. When did we talk about this? Oh, with the rag and the tal. When you put it out with good, attractive music, you're actually poisoning. Musicians, artists, they have responsibility to give people healthy things in their ears.
It's true.
And if they put out this type of degrading sounds, what are you contributing to the world? You won't feel good. You might get rich from it. You won't feel good. You won't feel like you're contributing. You'll feel, and it won't have a good effect. It'll have an inauspicious effect on everybody that hears it.
I remember once I saw an interview. It was an Oprah Winfrey show, and she had like a panel of guests that were influential in hip hop. And there was one very famous record producer there, and they were talking about some of the language and the imagery and so on in lyrics and rap music. And he was justifying it by saying this is just us reflecting the world that we come from. And I remember thinking at the time, you know, that's fine. And that's important actually, you know, through art. But there are people that do that in such a way that doesn't reinforce it, but that actually,
Sure.
but that actually helps transform it. Right.
Right. And not only that, but especially Americans who have a global influence, you're putting that out and glorifying it to the rest of the world, that sometimes people aren't like that. You will see LA and New York thug-ish people in Singapore, in Thailand, in Bangkok, in Mumbai,
Right.
because they want to be like a LA gangster, or they want to be like a New York. It's horrible what we're putting out to the world and lowering the bar to normal. Yeah, this is normal. This is how we act. If you're poor, you got to act like this. You know what I mean? If you want to be a winner, you act like this. If you want to fit into this and like this type of music, then you talk like this. You treat women like this.
Right.
It's horrible. It's horrible sound vibration in the name. And now this, whatever you're talking about, this type of music, it's degrading. Freedom doesn't mean I'm going to consume anything. Freedom means to have freedom, you have to regulate the senses. This is the difference. We're not interested in just consuming anything. We want to regulate the senses and only eat super sounds, super foods, super thoughts. It's not a free-for-all. Mara, come on! Is Mara frozen, or is she in deep thought?
No, she's appreciating over there.
She's frozen.
Okay, let's continue. So we're at hellish cinema attractions and rubbish sex songs broadcast everywhere by radios.
Rubbish sex songs. That's going to be my word of the day. Rubbish sex songs.
It's rubbish. If one is unable to maintain a temple at home. Now, so this verse again was talking about, like, if our legs aren't moving to a place like where I'm going to get this uplifting, powerful kind of spiritual, it's actually Prabhupada's going to phrase it here nicely. He says, if one is unable to maintain a temple at home, then they should go to another's temple where all the above performances are regularly executed. And earlier in the commentary, Prabhupada was talking about all the different rituals and ceremonies that take place on a daily basis in a temple. Then he says this is nice. He says, visiting the temple of a devotee and looking at the profusely decorated forms of the Lord, well-dressed in a well-decorated, sanctified temple, naturally infuse the mundane mind with spiritual inspiration.
It really does.
It does. There's
Really?
no question about it.
It
Right?
really does. It tangibly does. It's undeniable. You can hear it in a book and be like, well, maybe. It does. It all works. It's all true. All this stuff that sounds almost like Krishna crazy. It's all true.
Well,
I had a whole morning this morning of being on with my altar and doing my worship, and it affects your consciousness in a very deep way.
Infuses the mundane mind, the otherwise mundane mind, with spiritual inspiration.
What to speak of if you just start scrolling through your phone in the morning? You know what I mean? People wake up and they scroll through their phone. The first thing you do is you get on Facebook or Instagram or news or CNN or some other crazy feed. That is your food in the morning. It's like getting out of bed and jumping in mud.
So the yoga, again, is all about the mind. So whatever one's doing in yoga, asana, mantra chanting, here visiting a temple, and with your eyes engaging the sense of sight, which is going to be attracted to beauty one way or another. Let it become attracted to that beauty that's directly connected to God, where the very source of all beauty, right? The beauty that's completely satisfying, that's elevating, and so that's the idea in a temple, that all people's devotion is invested in that place. Here Prabhupada's talking about the decoration.
What's the sex song thing again?
Why are you going back to why are you going back there? What's going on in your mind, Raghunath? We're talking about seeing the beautiful form of Krishna temple, and you're going back to this sex song. What's going on?
I'm just trying to think of an analogy in my mind. Okay, I'm sorry. Go. I'll drop that. I'll drop that ball.
Okay, drop the ball.
Move forward.
So he's going to continue here. People should remember when we were in Jaipur, back when we started this podcast, right? We're a few weeks in.
Yeah.
We visited Jaipur.
Yeah.
And then you got like thousands of people going to that temple like at 5 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning or whatever.
Yeah. Remember, Mara?
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, people
Beautiful,
like dancing.
Yeah.
And then you walk away from that experience, that temple experience. And that temple experience includes not just the vision, like the sense of sight. This verse talks about the sense of sight, that the eyes, which do not look at the representations of Krishna in the temples, they're like the eyes on the peacock's feather, right? You're not actually seeing anything. You're not getting any real value.
Right.
And the legs which don't move to those holy places, you're like tree trunks, that they're not going anywhere. And so it's saying that there's a way that I'm going to use, this is called sadhana bhakti, that I'm going to engage my senses in connection to that original divine source, that root of all existence, that beautiful divine person. And so Prabhupada's, he's helping us understand the value of it. It transforms the mind with spiritual inspiration. It infuses the otherwise mundane mind with that spiritual inspiration. Okay, then he continues. And you know, and even just like you say, it's like, oh, is it some magical thing or something like that? But just even on a practical level, people can appreciate art, right? If you can appreciate art, then you know that when someone invests their emotion in a work of art, you may feel that same emotion it transfers. And so similarly, when people are investing their devotion in a temple, then when you walk into that atmosphere, you feel infused with that same devotion. It's effective and it's powerful. And if you do that on a regular basis, on a daily basis, it starts to become firmly rooted in the consciousness. Okay, so
watch out for the KMs.
The Krishna miracles begin to happen.
Oh, you know what? It's a Krishna miracle that happened yesterday. Is you mentioned that thing about we should make a book out of this, but it's going to take some transcribing.
People are volunteering.
Jesse, right? Jesse wrote me, and he was like, "Oh my God, I got a total Krishna coincidence." I was like, He was like, "I'm an editor and a writer. How could I engage that in Krishna service?" And then you mentioned that.
Okay.
It was a total KM.
We got to hook up. We got to hook up now.
It was a total Krishna miracle.
We're going to put that together.
The miracles are happening everywhere.
It's amazing.
You just got to just like fine tune your receiver.
Okay, so Prabhupada continues. People should visit holy places. So first he talks about the temples, now he's talking about the holy places. You know, visiting the holy places is considered one of the 5 very potent practices of sadhana bhakti. People should visit the holy places like Vrindavan, where such temples and worship of the deity are specifically maintained. Formerly, this is what rich people did. Formerly, all rich men, like kings and rich merchants, what did they do with that? Well, they constructed such temples under the direction of expert devotees of the Lord, like the 6 Goswamis.
It's true.
And it is
unbelievable.
Yeah, it is the duty of the common man. They weren't thinking, let me go buy a huge yacht. No, they're thinking of the people, right? And it is the duty of the common man to take advantage of these temples and festivals observed in the holy places of pilgrimage by following in the footsteps of the great devotees. One should, now this is important, one should visit all these sanctified pilgrimage places and temples. I'm sorry, one should not visit all these sanctified.
One should not go. Okay, I go.
One should not. Let's get this straight. Don't do this. One should not visit all these sanctified pilgrimage places and temples with sightseeing in mind. Okay? That's not what this is about. This is yoga. Great. This isn't not some.
I'm going to put this quote on my website. We're not sightseers.
Yeah.
We're not interested. The gateway to India, the Taj. Oh, the most romantic story ever. Who cares? Who cares? We go as pilgrims. We go with the desire to render service And you know what happens?
Yeah.
Then you walk through the mirror. You walk. Otherwise, you're just looking at the honey jar. You can never get in the honey jar. You're banging on the honey jar.
Yeah. No
Once
taste.
you're a pilgrim, no taste. You're a pilgrim. You take off that cap of the honey and you dip your paw in. You lick your fingers. That's what pilgrimage is. Pilgrimage is you enter in to ancient India. Not just sightseeing around India. You'll never go in. You will never go in. You'll never, right? You want to be on the field, not in the stands.
Okay.
Well,
Field, stands, paw, honey. Okay.
Paw, honey. Can we jump back to this other interesting point you made?
All right, we'll go back. As long as hold it, it's not going to be rubbish sex songs, right?
No, I'm not going back that far. Rubbish
Okay.
sex songs.
All right.
Although I'm thinking like that was the ~60s. Like how bad were they?
That was the '60s in India.
Like the Carpenters, were they rubbish sex songs? They're good. I say goodbye to love. No one really cares for this heart of mine. Time and time.
Raghunath, you said you were going to go back.
You brought me back there. I wasn't going to go there.
I did not bring you
I'm
back
just
there. I'm
thinking,
moving forward.
it's interesting how like even mundane love
Yes.
is like a rubbish sex song. But like Prabhupada was predicting the future.
Oh, well, you know,
now.
it just all has to be transformed, Raghu. It just has to be, you know, I just this morning, my man, Kaylee Kanana broke out a new song. Did you listen to it yet?
You love Kaylee Kanana.
That guy's, he's got it.
Fan.
He's got it. You know, he's got real talent, good songwriting talent, expert musician. So he wrote a song. I want to bring him back to sing this song. Okay, maybe this week we could bring him back. But it may have been inspired by your wisdom of the sages stuff. I don't know, because it's talking about that hole in the heart, right? You talk about that God-shaped hole.
You wrote a song called The God-Shaped Hole.
Not the God-shaped hole. He says there's a hole.
Oh, okay. All right.
He says there's a hole in my heart shaped like you, but it's obviously in reference to Krishna when you hear all the lyrics.
I hope so, or else it's going to be a rubbish sex song.
Well, that's my point. It could have been a rubbish sex song, right? But he's using all that talent and he's just connecting it. And then when you hear that song, you don't feel all pulled down by it, but you feel lifted up by it, right?
Well, I was going to go back to this point in the program where you said it wasn't rubbish sex songs. It was about how the wealthy engage their money traditionally.
Yeah.
In building temples in Vrindavan under the expert care guidance of the Brahmanas or the Vaishnavas.
6 Goswamis.
It's unbelievable. And then, we go to these, to this day, we go visit these, like the one at Govardhan, which was built by these kings of Rajasthan. Kings from all over India will come and they'll build ashrams. And that was their summer vacation.
Yeah.
That's what they did for summer vacation. That's their idea of a vacation. And it's happening. I can see it happening with these Zoom people. Like we had that event this weekend in Lake Placid, and a lot of people, it's like a vacation where you just go to here and you chant and you eat and you sing. That's what vacation is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, vacation is my life is so hard. I want to go on a cruise, all you can eat. They gain weight. They don't do yoga. We're reframing, almost rebirthing what a vacation was for a spiritualist. Where you come. The life of a bhakta is a vacation. Pilgrimage is like a vacation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you have money, this is what you do with your time or with your energy, with your resources, is your desire for your self-edification now is magnified. Due to your wealth, you're magnifying it that it can help so many more people. Yeah.
You recognize this because this spiritual culture was so deeply ingrained, right?
Yeah.
That even like you see in India, even to this day, to some degree, still see it, although it's definitely slipping away. But like the wealthiest people were like just engaged in they were very pious people, actually,
Yeah, it's not like they're just wealthy and they donate some money. They're actually very pious people.
Yeah, right in the heart, like that.
when I first came to India, not first came, but when I went years later, after I got in a car accident and went on that shelter tour, 97, when I first really connected with Raghunath Swami the year before, he said, come to India to heal. Or I said, I want to come to India to heal. And he said, come here tomorrow. I said, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. And I flew to Bombay. And it was like, my flight came in at 2 a.m. and I was like bewildered and I was on crutches. And there was a very, very wealthy family waiting at the airport. The parents and the 2 daughters with their hands folded, just like this. And I didn't even know who they were.
Is Krishna Chandra Prabhu?
Yeah. And they brought me back to their incredible, massive home. And this is like a pious family. This guy's got so much stuff going on, so many businesses. He's so like respected. He's an incredible contributor. He's a contributor to the world. But you could see this heart of a devotee. Here I am, some dirtbag punk singer. You know what I mean? And I got in a car accident. I'm going to India, and I probably looked a mess.
And he said they're at 2 a.m.
They're
at the
there
airport,
at 2
picking you up
a.m.
with his
The
whole
kids
family.
have school in the morning. Their hands are. It's not like he could have just easily sent one of his many drivers to come pick me up.
Yeah.
His entire family was there with tilak on, with folded hands, with food. As soon as I got back, what can I make? You know, it's interesting because I went to India to fast. Because I just wanted to fast and heal. But as soon as you get to one of those houses, they're like, "What can we make you? Do you like fresh chapatis?" I was like, "I love fresh chapatis." I went to heal and I got fatter. Anyway, that is the mood. And they use their wealth to auspiciously create ripple effects with whatever choices they make. Whereas the materialist is thinking, how can I enjoy this world for me?
And he's one of the people that I a couple Q&A sessions ago.
We should get him on a walk-in or a.
Oh, that would be a great interview.
You know what? These are not normal people. Yeah, these are not normal people.
But he's involved in that the Arta Forum, which is this organization of business leaders who want to kind of contribute in a devotional, spiritual way. And again, their slogan is, do you remember their slogan?
Simple living, high thinking.
Oh, close. But this
bird in the hand.
This is one for Mara's back piece. You ready?
Yeah.
If there's room after the chewy snake design, frog thing. Earn with integrity, spend with compassion.
Nice.
I like that.
Integrity,
right?
spend with integrity.
Earn with integrity, spend with compassion. Beautiful man, beautiful family. So I'm so special. Those people are so special.
Let's get him on the show. Okay.
All right. Okay, so continuing. Let's continue with this commentary. There's still some great stuff here.
Okay.
So he says, one should not visit all the... Okay, we read that. Oh, let me just start here. One should not visit all these sanctified pilgrimage places and temples with sightseeing in mind. That's not the point. But one must go to such temples and sanctified places immortalized by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord and be guided by proper people who know the science, right? Who know what this is all about, what we're meant to achieve here, what's accomplished, what's available here, what the opportunity is. Right. He says this is called anuvraja, which was a word that was used in this verse. Anu means to follow. It is therefore best to follow the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master, even in visiting temples and in the holy places of pilgrimage. One who does not move in that way is as good as the standing tree, condemned by the Lord not to move, right? We have this ability to move. Let's use it for the right purpose. Right. Now, Prabhupada says this. He says, the moving tendency of the human being is misused by visiting places for sightseeing. The best purpose of such traveling tendencies could be fulfilled by visiting the holy places established by the great acharyas, and thereby not being misled by the atheistic propaganda of the money-making men who have no knowledge of spiritual matters. I'm just laying it down.
Laying it down. Sometimes you need to just be corrected.
Yeah, right. Stop wasting your time.
these things don't ultimately satisfy. I like what you say. You talk about this a lot, when you're talking about the God-shaped hole, is the idea of travel. Travel is a beautiful thing. Travel is a great thing, but a lot of it is, a lot of what people are trying to do is escape their mundane life, go off to some beautiful or exciting or luxurious place. Yeah. But you just get there, and really, if you're not doing something spiritually uplifting, you're just like, you're kind of there like just advertising that you went to this place to people by taking your photos and posting them,
Here's
and
a
then you
picture of
kind
me
of
with this.
you go back with the same empty heart.
You know what? It's great. There's a difference between pilgrimage and wanderlust.
Right.
And I don't mean the yoga festival wanderlust. It means like this is a great one too. Sometimes in the name of pilgrimage, we want to go here, I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to go here. But oftentimes as you start to dial in your bhakti, you're like, actually, I want to go where Krishna's pastimes take place. So on all our pilgrimages, we always end up back in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of places of Lord Vishnu we get into, but oftentimes if you ask people practicing bhakti, they very often go to Vrindavan, or they go to Mayapur if they're followers of Lord Chaitanya. They go to Puri, and they go there, and people say, well, you've been to these places. It doesn't make material sense for like family members. Like, where are you going again? India? Well, you must.
Same place.
No, same place. Because for people practicing bhakti, we don't go wide, we go deep. We want to go deep into these places. We want to sort of, sometimes we'll visit. If you're visiting the same temples, yeah, we want to go deep. It's just, even when you talk about like yoga, it's like you don't have to do thousands of poses. Do down dog. You'll be doing down dog. You'll never get over down dog. You'll be doing down dog forever. Just do down dog. When things are of substance, you don't have to go very wide. You just go deep. And your point was like incredibly sanguine. You travel all older. You take a picture. It's sort of like a reprise. I said this word again, and you didn't tell me. Reprise. A reprise. It's a reprise from my regular monotony of what I'm seeing in my day to day. But what's really there? So, for spiritualists, we take our sadhana wherever we go, and our sadhana becomes quite joyful. We don't want the event. The event doesn't necessarily have to make us joyful. Our regular how I live my life will make me joyful. And then wherever we go is just a backdrop. And what's also interesting is we just leave it up to Krishna. Okay, Krishna's going to take me here, and Krishna's going to take me here. And we don't miss out on adventure. I mean, Mara's done a lot of traveling in her life, right? Where
did she go that where was it that you went earlier this year? She went off to
Zanzibar.
Huh?
Zanzibar. She lived in the Marshall Islands.
Now, what did you get out of that? Let's be truthful, Mara.
She got a sunburn.
I mean, I'm not. Someone may go there and have a wonderful and spiritually, valuable time.
No, I think she had a spiritual time because she's a spiritual person.
Yes,
wasn't it, Mara?
Yeah, I mean, I like chanting japa on the beach, and I had all day to just read and chant.
Did you meet interesting people there?
Yeah, some. I was traveling with my brother and a friend also.
Did you learn anything that you can share with us today?
Wow, you're putting me on the spot, Kaustubha.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, were you sightseeing or were you actually doing something spiritual? We're going to find out right now.
No, I don't think I have anything to share.
Okay.
Is it, what do you call it? Did you have a tough time, trying to balance spiritual? Was it like a party atmosphere, or was it very sattvic? And if it wasn't sattvic, did you struggle with that at all?
Yeah, I struggled some actually on that trip because I was just coming from India, and I was looking forward to having a space in between transferring back to my regular life at home.
Right.
But
yeah.
But it's I'd been traveling with such high association that it was even just finding vegetarian food was a struggle, that sort of thing. So
right.
But you're appreciating God's gifts there, I think, is what I was doing. Okay.
Exactly.
When you do things like that, when I go from sort of a spiritual atmosphere to a materially sattvic atmosphere, you notice you're actually leaving the spiritual world. Sometimes like India isn't necessarily sattvic. Sometimes there's like a cacophony of sounds, some garbage is here, a dusty room that you're staying in sometimes, but because the association and the sangha and the harikatha and the chanting and the temples, your consciousness goes out of the material realm. And then you go to like, okay, one year we did this. We had this very high, feeling super high pilgrimage. And my whole family went to Costa Rica for like a vacation on the beach. Just
Afterward,
to chill out.
you're saying.
And it was
immediately afterwards.
Yeah, immediately afterwards. And it was a stark difference between
Contrast.
Sattva Guna and Shuddha Sattva, like pure goodness, where you're not of this world. And things were okay. The beach is nice and the water's clean. It's different. It's a different feeling. What do you think about that, Kaustubha?
Well, Raghunath, I'm with you 100%. So I have a question for you.
Tell me.
So, I think both of us, but I think especially you, our practice of bhakti, a real important element to it as we were growing up in it, as we were being exposed to it in our early years of it, and it continues to be to this day, this going on pilgrimage, right? It wasn't just something like, it wasn't like a secondary kind, but it was like a fundamental part, I think, of our attraction to it. And not only our attraction to it, but like our understanding, the conceptions that we developed about bhakti were largely informed and grew out of the experiences that we had in these places of pilgrimage. True?
I would say definitely yes.
Yeah.
Because even the nuances of the little things, like I was in a temple worshiping Tulsi, but if I didn't go to India first, Tulsi was sort of like, why Tulsi? When you go to India, do you find that, Mara, like Tulsi makes more sense after going to India?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? You've gone through that threshold, the Krishna crazy threshold. We're like, oh yeah, yes. The things become more relevant here, and it it's affected. It's affected my kids. My kids from going to India and practicing bhakti in India, I can see how it's affected them now. Like they really appreciate puja. They appreciate just watching an artik. They'll just sit and watch an artik. For a kid to watch an artik, it takes a lot. Like, oh, an artik. Now they're going to offer that.
Right.
My daughter was just walking around. My teenage daughter was walking around. I wish we were doing something where I could wear tilak. I miss wearing tilak. You know what I mean? That's the thing you want your teenage daughter to say. But I think it's just coming from India, being in that culture where you're decorating your body, you're chanting these names of Vishnu, you're wearing sacred cloth, you're offering incense, you're wearing flower garland, and all these things are like materially, aesthetically very beautiful also. So yeah, I think it's important to dip your toes into that to experience that, and then it comes off. And a lot of the people come with me on pilgrimage, they say things like this, and I say it too. I think of India every day.
Yep.
Matter of fact, Perry Julian, who's one of the others out there, he comes to pilgrimage with me every year, and he's a great photographer. He's great at everything. But he sent me this beautiful picture of I was sitting by the Ganga chanting with Radhakund Prabhu, our friend, who's a sadhu.
Yeah.
And he organizes Raghunath Swami's pilgrimages. And we're chanting on the bank of the Ganga with the Ganga in the background. And I thought to myself, this picture is the most joyous thing I could see right now. It's me in a holy place with holy people by the Ganges. I was like, this is the perfection of life. This is the perfection of life.
But there's one point that and maybe this will be our final point because we just have a minute left. But this is so important because I can see people here like, that sounds great. I've always wanted to do that. Actually, I just want to go there and have this spiritually transformational experience and all that. But what Srila Prabhupada is saying here, and we should really take note. I really encourage listeners out there who are hearing this to take note of this, where he says, one must go to such temples and sanctified places immortalized by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord and be guided by proper people who know the science. Right? It's like
that was how we were blessed.
Exactly my point. It's like we didn't go there just wandering around on our own trying to figure it out or trying to have some cool experience or something like that. We were very carefully, very, very intentionally guided through that experience so that we could really understand what it's all about. And without that, we would have been lost.
You don't enter.
We wouldn't have entered. We might have gone wide. We wouldn't have gone deep. Yeah.
That was good. Somebody I was training once said to me, we were all planning to go to Vrindavan, and he's vegan truckers in my window. Oh, Chris,
vegan truckers snuck up
to show up vegan truckers looking right over my shoulder. That's the scariest thing I ever saw. If you're not listening, you're not watching on Zoom, the vegan trucker just showed up at the Love's gas station. Here's my point.
Listeners will have to go to YouTube to see it. If they're listening on one of the podcasts.
See that beautiful face of his going through the window.
Moon-like face. It's like the full moon rising.
He's like a beautiful moon-like face with his shaven head and Sika. I gotta close the window, trucks, because it's making noise, those truckers. But my point was, someone was saying, hey, Raghunath, we're gonna go to Vrindavan. I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. And I don't generally instruct people, but this person was like one of my students. I said, you're not gonna go anywhere. I don't want to hear your bucket list of what you want to do in Vrindavan. When you go to Vrindavan, I said, I've been doing this for years. When I go to Vrindavan, I throw myself at the feet of the guru, Damodar Swami in this case, and I say, Maharaj, what would you like from me while I'm here? How can I be of service? And then, or what should I do with the students? And you don't go with the bucket list of how can I enjoy the Dham. You go with how can I serve. So you get led in, and when you get led in with that type of like humility, you enter into a whole other magic world. Otherwise, we're just sightseeing.
It can be counterproductive. Actually.
It can be counterproductive because what'll happen is you're trying to enjoy a holy place. Enjoyment comes anyway. The holy place is enjoyable. The temples the whole thing is like a festival. But if you go with that hard nose of like, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, what happens is you don't get the blessings. And we subsist. The blessings of saintly people, that's our food. That's how we subsist. And we ask, we plead with them, please give me some direction while I'm here. What do you recommend? And that's how you enter. And all of our bhakti subsists on blessings from people who've gone ahead of us.
And on that note,
me and Vegan Trucker.
There he is.
See, it used to be Mara used to come hang out with me. Now it's Vegan Trucks.
Did he bring any goodies? Got anything on him?
Bring any goodies? No, nothing. You want an apple? It's all right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hope I see you Saturday at the Bhakti Center. Tonight at 8 o'clock. Patreon. Community supported podcast. Patreon.com/Wisdom of the Sages. We appreciate everybody supporting us. And any other classes happening this weekend there, Mara G?
Well, today Ananda Devi is teaching an asana class at 10 a.m.
I'm sorry. Who is that?
Ananda Devi.
Ananda G. Wonderful. We have such a great celebrity-like yoga teachers and workshop givers.
And tomorrow morning we have Tina Scheid. Is she from Germany?
Yes.
She's teaching the gentle yoga at 6:30 in the morning tomorrow. So she's teacher.
A long-time listener.
Yeah.
She listened. Tina has been listening since Super Soul Sacred Sangha.
Yeah.
Right.
So good. We're excited. And she's a very empowered teacher. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks all the Zoomers out there, and thanks if you'd like to join our Zoom family. Everybody on Zoom is chanting one round of japa at least per day. That is the entrance fee. You got to contact Mara, and you've got to tell her, Mara, I'm making that commitment, and then Mara will initiate you. You write Mara at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. Everybody write in your Krishna miracles to me at Raghunath Yogi. Kaustubha, what else? And we're about to fully announce. Me and Kaustubha are hashtagging. Me and Kaustubha are going through what we're going to do on the retreat, but we are planning our retreat at Super Soul Farm, a one-day retreat. You got to also email Mara if you'd like to get on that list, and then we're going to hit everybody with the register button at the same time. And it's going to be a first time, first serve because there's limited space. So
I just had an idea.
You just had a good idea?
Well, based off the idea that Mara shared, but maybe on that retreat, we could do the home worship class, film it, and then share it on Patreon. Because we got to do that wedding the day before, so we're going to have to kind of, anyway, we'll be kind of a little bit in that mood. And
Interesting.
Let's do that.
Everyone gets to see Mara do her whirling dance in kirtan, too.